Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Let's try that again. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining in on the live stream.
Hello.
Hello,
Everyone. Hello.
Good to be with you all. Welcome. We're excited to be doing, for the first time, Supergirl TV Talk live. We've never done this before. This is a first. So
Like usually we're an automated message machine. This is very strange to actually answer a podcast.
this is true. This is very true. It's very strange indeed. It's far beyond our comfort zone, but here we are. Yeah. So we're gonna start the actual podcast in just a second here, but wanted to say hi to everyone who is watching live. Thank you so much for taking some time to watch us, and hopefully, tweet along with us. We're live on Twitter through Periscope. We're also live on YouTube. So please enjoy, interact with us. Interact in the chat. And we're about to start the actual live the actual podcast from here on out. So thank you all for joining us. We love you all, and please interact with us live as we go along. And we're really excited to be doing this. So thanks. All right, you ready, Tim?
I am ready. Oh, I'm looking at myself.
Yeah.
This is fun. It's me over there, but it's you over there.
But it's me over here.
Oh my God. All right. Anyway.
All right, we're those guys from the radio. Faces for radio. Well, I'm not. I'm a face for radio. Your face is $1 million.
It's like $1.50.
$1.50.
Yeah, that's $1.50.
All right, let's do this. Let's actually start the podcast.
Okay.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Supergirl TV Talk. My name is Frank, and joining me, as he does every week, is my good friend who I can actually see because we are live on the internet, Tim.
Oh, it's me. I can see you. You're live on the internet, and you're a real person.
I am,
nice to
and
know.
you are, and we all are. Hi, everybody out there. We are streaming this live. You're hearing the podcast later this week, obviously, but we are streaming this live on Periscope and on YouTube. Thanks to everyone who's watching us right now. We got a bunch of people in the chat who are saying hi. Glad to have you all along with us. Thanks to everyone in the podcast listening audience for joining us, as always. Super excited to be doing this.
That's great. This is cool. I'm watching it on my screen on my right before I look at my notes, and we're like slightly behind where we are in real life because of technology, and it's trippy to watch you say things over here and then not hear them but say them over here. Like, I saw you do this, and now you're like, now this.
Yeah, right. It's like 10 seconds later or whatever it shows up there or more. Oh man. Well, this is cool. This is really cool. We are going to be announcing something later on in the show. This is sort of a dry run for something we've got planned, so stick around because we have an announcement to make later on. But in the meantime, how you been this week, my friend?
Oh, I've been quite well, Frank. I've been super well, actually. Thanksgiving was fun and filling, and that's about the whole kit and caboodle, actually. How are you?
Right on. Yeah, no, I'm great. Thanksgiving was also great. Thanks for asking. Yeah, it was a nice time off. We obviously took a week off from the podcast last week as well. And now we're back at it, baby. Back at it. We're back, baby. We're ready.
We're back, baby.
Ready to take on Crisis. And yeah, exciting things to come for sure.
Cool.
Well, listen, hey, before we jump into the mailbag this week, I just want to take a quick second and talk about something a little bit serious. Many of us in the Supergirl fandom were shaken this week when Melissa Benoist posted a pretty lengthy video on her IGTV channel on Instagram, where she talked pretty openly and pretty candidly about the abuse that she had suffered in a previous relationship. And Tim and I talked about it, and we're both obviously we love her, we support her all the way. We think it's incredibly brave, what she did, putting it out there like that. And she's a true hero. She's a true hero. You know, she is truly our Supergirl. She's really a hero when it comes to. It takes a lot of bravery to do what she did and the way she did it. And you know, hopefully, by doing that, she will be a great example to many other people to step out in out of the shadows and into the light. Again, it takes a lot of courage to do what she did. So we just wanted to say, you know, hashtag I stand with Melissa. And listen, if you have concerns about your relationship or the relationship of a loved one, please contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE, 1-800-799-7233, or visit them at thehotline.org. And you can talk to an advocate that way. Please take care of yourself and use Melissa as an example. We love her and we support her, and we are behind her all the way. We stand with her all the way. So we wanted to make sure we said that up front. But we will switch gears now, and let's jump into our mailbag, and let's start. Thank you.
I got you.
Yes,
it's not going away, Frank.
It's not going away. It's not going away anytime soon. And I guess I am thankful for that, in the spirit of Thanksgiving. Sure. Yeah. Well,
you could be whatever you want to be about it. Doesn't matter to me.
I suppose that's true. Well, yeah. Let's open up the mailbag and let's get into that. So, I want to touch on one email that comes this week from our friend Brent, who is host of Fans Without Borders and some other wonderful podcasts.
Hello, Brent.
Hey, Brent. He's actually watching live, which is pretty neat. So thanks for the support. But Brent emailed us and said, really good episode of Supergirl tonight. Seems like Lena doesn't quite know which side of the line she's on, or showing concern for Hope's well-being, but being willing to sacrifice her at the end to the police. I still think she's ultimately going to earn her last name, but it's nice that she didn't just take a straight line to be there. Loved her line about the good guys not always winning when referring to herself. Now bring on Crisis, Brent.
Nice. I would agree. Based off of this episode, I definitely agree with that. I mean, I agreed with it last week too, but there's a line particularly from this episode that just kind of hammers home Brent's point. So we'll get to that when we get to it, though, Frank Linsis.
Right on. Yeah, I definitely think that I do think that she is sort of towing this line, right, between being good and being evil, and sort of how she thinks she's good. Just like Luthors do. She thinks she's good. She thinks she's doing everything for the right reasons. But obviously a lot of people are going to be hurt by her actions. So it is that interesting duality that the Luthors have, and that many villains have. But the Luthors in particular are big on this, where they think that they are saving, humanity. They think they're saving the world by doing what they're doing. In this case, Lena is, I would say, she comes off way more sympathetic than Lex does, right? Because I feel like I really feel most of her. I feel most of her motivations. I can understand where they're coming from, because we've had the last couple of years seeing her be the person that she is, right?
Maybe she's more sympathetic than Lex, yes, but because Lex's beef is with somebody he doesn't really know, right? So, like, yes, let's say he and Clark were friends in this version of their relationship. He and Superman don't have a pre-existing relationship outside of scorn, I guess, and jealousy and hatred and whatever else. But at the same time, I don't know if Lena's hurtfulness from her friendship, like she just not kind of being mature enough to have a conversation. Like, I don't know if that makes it better or worse. I think it actually makes it worse. I'm leaning towards
Interesting.
worse.
Leaning towards worse. I mean, I see your point there. I guess I just feel like because we've been on the journey with her, I feel a little bit more of her. I mean, what she's doing is horrendous at the end of the day, or what she's trying to do. But I do think that I sort of feel her conflict and her I feel where a lot of her pain is coming from, and a lot of those, again, without condoning it, I feel where it's coming from, and so I feel more sort of empathy towards her than I normally do towards Lex. Smallville's Lex, I guess, we saw him become the man that he became, but I guess ultimately the things that he does are so much worse, like trying to sink California and things like that, or create a kryptonite island.
California.
I feel like
California.
But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like those things are inexcusable, where Lena's reasoning, while flawed, kind of holds together to some degree. But maybe that's just me.
I don't see it. She's so concerned about having, like, being hurt that she can't see that she's hurting people, but not only people she doesn't know, people she does care about. At least, no, I would say at least Lex doesn't hurt people he cares about, because he doesn't care about anybody, but that's not strictly true either. I don't know. This is something to unpack later, I think. So let's put this aside and go through the setup for the episode, and we'll come back to Lena, because she's really the bulk of the episode.
Sounds good to me. Let's put this aside, and we will come back around to it. Thank you so much, Brent. Thank you so much to everybody who emailed us this week and every week at mail@supergirltvtalk.com. If you want to hear your thoughts read on the show, email us at mail@supergirltvtalk.com, and we would love to read them on the show. So thanks so much to everybody who does that each and every week.
Good stuff. Frank, can I do my spiel now? Is that what we're about?
Go ahead and do your spiel, my friend.
Oh, thank you. This episode is episode 8 of season 5, titled The Wrath of Rama Khan. It is a play off of Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan. Hilarious.
Love it.
Written by Lindsay Sturman and Jessica Cardos, and directed by Marcus Stokes. Frank, I only have 2 good bits. Yeah.
I feel like we were a little light on good bits this week.
A little light on the good bits. And I'm looking at my first good bit. It's not even really a good bit. It's kind of a theme, but it doesn't matter. I'll do my first good bit. I like that Malefic was just one giant test by the Monitor for Jean.
Right.
It's not really a particular segment of the episode apart from the discovery of that fact, because we were just saying, like, the Monitor did a thing and brought, like, so what's the whole point of that? Why we didn't think that the Monitor needed Jean Jones, I will not know. But now I'm excited to see what role he's going to play in Crisis.
Totally.
Because before I thought he was just going to be like support. You know what I mean? Like, I will also help because I'm the Martian Manhunter.
Sure.
But maybe there's more to that. I mean, there's definitely more to that. I'm excited.
Right. Apparently there is more to it. And I'm glad. I'm glad there is, because like you, I was sort of wondering, how is this all going to connect? I feel like they've been this show has been the least of the shows I don't watch Legends anymore, so I don't really know, but this feels like the least connected to the Crisis of out of Flash, Arrow, Supergirl. This one is the least, has made the fewest references to it this season.
I would say Batwoman, actually,
even less. That's true.
There has been 0. Yeah,
except for that tag at the end this week, and that's about it.
Sure, but they all had that. They all had that. So right. So yeah, it was nice to know that, even though it's right before, there is kind of actually 2 big lead-ins, because my second good bit was Lex playing cosmic chess. Like,
love the cosmic chess. Right?
Yeah, it wasn't just that he was there, which was great. Here's a little setup for you. Oh, remember, I brought you back. I've just been letting you hang out in this leather chair that you died in, by the way. That's the chair he died in. Now he's just sitting in it.
Just chilling out in this little pocket universe like Thanos at the end of, like, the early MCU films, right?
Exactly. That's the same place that Oliver makes the deal with Mar Novu in the last Crisis.
Oh,
to,
that was
like,
the same. That was the
it's
same spot where he did that.
Yeah, same little cosmic place.
Cool.
So
Cool.
But I liked the cosmic chess where like the pieces aren't really our normal chess pieces. They're just different shaped crystals or glass or whatever. I enjoyed that because Lex is super smart. And to your point, you were saying earlier that the Luthors are always kind of the heroes, where he even said in their own minds, where Lex even says, well, I've always been the hero. Because Marnova is like, this is your chance to be the hero. And he's like, I'm always the hero.
That's
like,
how he thinks of himself, right? Going back to what we said earlier. That's how he considers himself the hero of the story. Full stop.
good villains don't think they're doing bad.
Right.
Because if they thought they were doing bad, then they wouldn't do it. Even if they thought it was bad for themselves, they probably wouldn't do it.
Absolutely.
Unless they were unhinged in a great way. But Lex isn't unhinged. He's a full-on sociopath.
That's
Which
right.
I guess is a different kind of unhinged.
It is.
Anyway,
he is unhinged,
we're not,
I suppose. But
we're not
but
here
he's-
to talk about that.
He's unhinged, but he's like collected. He's got it together, but he's
Right.
out there. Yeah, for sure.
A third good bit I
Yes.
just thought of. I enjoyed going back to the Dinosaur Museum, to the Museum of Natural History.
You would.
I enjoyed that. I like dinosaurs, Frank. What can I say? Do I have a dinosaur around me to prove my point?
Probably. If you somewhere in that room, you must have dinosaurs because you love you some dinosaurs, and so do I.
I have a Godzilla kind of near me, but that's not the
Okay.
same thing.
Well, but we'll count that just for the purposes of this conversation.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Frank, what were some of your good bits?
I don't have small. See, here's the thing. Good bits. Our thesis on good bits is that they are small little moments that we enjoyed that we want to talk about that they don't fit anywhere else. All the stuff I want to talk about is the big stuff, the big chunks
okay.
of like I want to talk about the Supergirl and Alex's conversation about whether Lena is good or not and how to deal with that. I want to talk about like that opening scene. Like there's a lot of things that I want to get into, but they're all big. They're not bits. They're good, but they're not bits. So I think we're gonna cover all those in the body of the episode here, right? So
yes.
I don't want to step on that any more than we already have. So I say, unless you have any, do you have any Professor Comics Corner that you want to get into?
Of course, I have a Professor Comics Corner. Who do you think I am?
You are Professor Comics. That's who you are.
That's right. What do you think I am? A middle school teacher? This is not Middle School Teacher Comics Corner.
It's not amateur hour.
We get into the big stuff. This is not Kindergarten Comics Corner, which would have been great for the alliteration. The KCC.
That's too bad. Yeah.
Anyway, now we're in the PCC.
Now we're in the PCC. Yeah, you know me.
I want to talk about. They only mentioned him, and you only saw his hand with a ring. But I want to talk about Tezumak.
Okay.
Real comics character created by the same people who created Rama Khan and what we've the kind of the character and Akrata, the same, like it's basically the same era of that comics run, and they're just applying that to Leviathan. So it's interesting. So Tezumak, created by Joe Kelly and Doug Mankey, first appeared in JLA 66 in 2002, and he only lasted for a couple of years, and he was like part of that initial run. So I'm going to read the little brief snippet from Wikipedia. South American monk from a pre-Aztec Mesoamerican civilization based in ancient Mexico. He took the name Tezumak and joined a group of ancient warriors led by Gemini, I think who is that blonde woman in the
okay.
episode. So he wears a large bronze armor which honors the ancient gods who first brought science to his people. Working with the League of Ancients, they battled the JLA who had been lured back in time to search for the missing Aquaman, so on and so forth. And I don't want to read any more in case it ends up being a spoiler for future episodes. However, the League of Ancients also included Rama Khan and I think Akrata was a part of that somehow. And so they basically took the name Leviathan and are applying it to the League of Ancients.
Okay. Ancients. Okay.
Ancients.
That's interesting. So we knew that they were sort of playing around with who this organization was. Now it's becoming much clearer, right, from the last couple of episodes. exactly what they've been doing here.
Yeah, sort of though. Like, what are they doing, Frank? This isn't becoming clear, but what are they doing? I mean, there's obviously some chaos within the group. You know, Ramakan keeps failing, and they're like, "Oh, well, you're out, boyo.
Right.
See ya." So I don't know, but I don't know what else is up. So they keep saying she, you know, like she told me to do this. She said this. We don't know who she is yet. I don't think it's Tezumak because that was definitely a male hand.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know, Frank. Who is it?
Whoever. So someone's
is
at the top of
Leviathan?
this pyramid, right? Somebody is at the top of this Leviathan pyramid, and we are gradually seeing, like, getting closer and closer and closer to the top. And every time we move up a level, we meet somebody who has, like, more and more concentrated power, right? There are fewer players the further you go up, literally like a pyramid. And so I think we're now at the stage where there's like 2 or 3 blocks in place, right? But we still haven't met whoever's at the very, very top. I think that whoever fake Granny Goodness is supposed to be, she
Fake Granny.
She's not Granny Goodness, but she bears an awfully strong resemblance, at least in terms of her, archetype. But that's that I'm calling her fake Granny Goodness for now. Oh yes, El Rabanero helpfully points out that she is obviously Shaka Khan because we met Rama Khan. So obviously
sure,
it must be Shaka.
Sure, that makes sense. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you, Robin. Appreciate that. But yeah, I think that so Shaka Khan's at the top of the pyramid, and yeah, that's got to be how it is. No, but we're getting closer, but they're keeping that away from us, and that will be, I'm sure, whoever is at the top of the whole Leviathan, ancients, all that pyramid is going to be presumably the big bad for the second half of the season.
Frank, do you know Shaka Khan is an American songwriter and singer?
That's what Robin was saying. Shaka Khan.
I didn't know that. I'm learning new things.
Here again in the chat.
Yeah, I know this lady.
Yeah. Shaka Khan. Cyclone Rachel adds in the chat, could she be Lena's mom?
Oh, I would love it if Lillian made a comeback. Oh, real mom. Lena's real mom.
Ooh, I thought Rachel meant Lillian, but actually could be her real mom, who we did see teased earlier this season, right?
We did. So here's the thing on that. So clearly Leviathan is kind of this like League of Ancients thing because all of these characters are old, right?
Right.
And so they're thousands and thousands of years old. So would that mean that Lena's real mom is thousands of years old? It's possible.
It's possible. It's certainly possible. Yeah, Rachel's confirming in the chat that she meant her real mom. Yeah, it's definitely possible that there is more to her story than we know, and that maybe she's an ancient. And who knows? Rachel also says that she hopes it's not Katie McGrath in a wig. I think we all do. I think we all hope for that.
I don't think anybody wants that. I don't think Katie McGrath wants that.
I honestly, I don't think so either. Yeah, that seems like it would be hard. Okay. So that's Professor Comics Corner. Anything else for Professor Comics Corner?
No, sir. We're just moving right along.
Want to move right along into Storytime Village then?
Storytime Village. First house. Knock, knock, knock. First theme.
Oh, no, not this again. Not that again.
Over-reliance on technology, dark side of technology is kind of Lena's whole weapon. It's Myriad plus Inception equals worldwide control. We don't like any of those things. Also includes the staff of the Shadow World. Pretty cool. Also, giant laser turret cannons for inside a mountain. Good bit. Forgot to mention. Should have written it down. Frank, does it feel like Lena's story's a little too well wrapped here? Like, it took her 8 episodes to get to this point, and now she's like, well, here we go. Because actually, so this dark side of tech, I want to talk about the shades of. Let's just go back to Lena. Lena fights off Supergirl with, Lex's weapons, but she's not happy about it. She's like, no, turn off the kryptonite. And
Right. She doesn't mean to do that, but it happens.
right. So, but Kara's gonna Kara gets the wrong impression because the mountain's lead lined and all of this stuff. Do you think that this was kind of a precursor for Lena, I guess? Like, is she coming back in a bigger way? Or is she going to learn her lesson over the course of Crisis? Because we know that she's involved in Crisis somehow.
Yes, we do know that. So I do think that there's going to be either a truce of some kind, or Lena will be on the side of who we consider the good guys, I predict, during Crisis. I don't think she's going to be on the side of the bad guys during Crisis. I think that she will she like come away from it a changed woman? That's what I'm not so sure about. I feel like they're laying down pretty strong that like she is committing to this. Like she is committing to who she has become. Like that she sees this as a necessary, logical next step, and this is who she wants to be now. So I do kind of think that she's gonna stay bad, for lack of a better term. But I do think that I hope that during Crisis she will, see the light and support. Like she still wants good for mankind. Just her definition of good happens to be different than ours. But she doesn't want to like eradicate mankind. So I think she will stand with the heroes during Crisis and do whatever it takes to save Earth.
Well, here's the counter argument to that. Not really. Just I think I agree with you, but what she says in this episode kind of contradicts that, because she says that Supergirl exposed her to the ugliness of humanity. Like she didn't know it before, but now she's like, oh, now everyone's really, really terrible. And so she doesn't see that she's becoming Lex, which is what he wanted in the first place. Right. He wanted her to be like him. That's why he kept pushing her. And this was his final act in him revealing that, she's Supergirl was his kind of act. And she's like, no, like she's kind of like living up to what Lex wanted, but she doesn't really realize that her actions, Alex points it out, her actions up until this point have been quite Luthorish,
Oh yeah.
So, so I don't know. I don't think her justification of we don't kill people no matter how much they hurt us. Like think about all the villain plans that are like, I'm not going to kill you. I want you to live forever so you can live with the pain. That in a way is worse. Her weird line of like villains don't kill people, or villains kill people and good guys don't kill people. That's a weird dividing line. Like clearly she's never took a philosophy class.
Right. It's not quite that simple, generally speaking, right? Like just because you don't kill somebody doesn't mean you're not a villain, and just because and I guess you could argue that not necessarily, just because you have killed somebody, I mean, you can kill out of self-defense or whatever. There's lots of, we can get into the just war theory and all that kind of stuff too, right? But yeah, it's not that black and white. It's not that black and white, and I feel like she is sort of looking at things in a very black and white way right now, and that is leading to her considering herself the good guy and everyone else the bad guy, because she has a very narrow view of what's good and what's bad.
Well, we said before when we were talking about Lex that he has always seen himself as the good guy.
Yeah.
So she's just like him, because she's also only seeing herself as the good guy. But she's like, Lex killed people, so he bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't kill people, so I'm good.
Right.
It just doesn't. It doesn't track. Like I think she's too smart to think this way, if that makes sense. Like maybe something else is going on.
Yep. I agree. I have to agree. I think there's a very good likelihood of that.
Here's a thing. Blah blah blah. Alex admonishes Kara. No, Alex admonishes Lena. There we go. For her, like, being a Luthor, right?
Yes.
She's like, boo, she's doing Luthor things. We got to stop this.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Alex does a Luthor thing. She doesn't trick Kara, but she uses Kara to achieve her own ends in secret. Secrets and trust being used for good and evil. And so she's like, Lena's being secretive and stuff. Also, I run this secret organization, and I just used you, my sister, to achieve my personal end. You know, like, everyone's just like anyone want to look in a mirror, but also look at everyone else's mirrors, because you're just all doing the same thing. And it's really only Kara that's kind of like, I'm here trying to do the good stuff.
It's
anybody want to listen to Kara?
Yeah,
No?
anybody?
Okay.
Any takers? Anybody at all? No, I know what you mean there. And I definitely see what you mean there, but I don't know. My take on that is what Alex was doing. Alex is like law enforcement, right? And so I think that it's one of those things where we give that power of and the, I don't know, the right to use deception and to use maybe nefarious means, what would be dishonest otherwise. We give that over to the government or to law enforcement to protect the rest of us, right? We give them certain rights and certain abilities that we wouldn't otherwise grant to protect us. So I kind of filed this under that. Now, granted, there is the personal angle of, like, she had to betray her sister in a sense to do it. But I feel like Kara is going to forgive that and understand, like, no, you were just doing your job and you were just trying to protect us, right? Protect the world, and like,
right, because then Kara would be hypocritical, like, because Kara does that a lot. You know, she's like, no, I had to do it to protect you. See Lena's and Kara's relationship full of secrets.
Exactly, right? The entire thing, the whole reason that Lena is disillusioned right now is because Kara did exactly that.
It's one of those situations where if you could just put everybody in a room to just talk it out, it would almost like solve itself.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
Just like put the cat and the dog in the room, they'll learn to love each other in a couple hours.
That's right.
That's kind of what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which is hilarious because that's basically what Jean and Malefic did.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Right. They locked themselves in a cell and they mind melded and they hashed it out. They figured out what was going on.
Right. That's it. And now Malefic's like, I'm going to go help peace relations between the Green and White Martians because I understand both of them. Here's this cool card. That's so fun. Yeah, I remember this. And they're like, boom, problem solved. Like, took care of that.
Yep.
Like, ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Yeah, it is a bit ridiculous, isn't it?
Just like, everyone just talk to one another.
It's almost talk about your feelings.
It's almost exhausting. Like, you're also good about talking about your feelings, but not listening to anyone about your feelings. The only people that are actually good about that are Kelly and Alex right now. They're the only ones that are good about talking and listening about their feelings. Also, where's Dreamer? What's happening?
Where has Nia been? Where has Nia been this whole, like, the last couple of weeks? I'm sure they gave us I'm sure there must have been something in dialogue somewhere in the last couple of weeks where they were just like, oh, she's on an assignment or whatever that we just aren't remembering. But where the hell's she been?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't even. I'm giving benefit of the doubt, but I don't. Yeah, I mean, maybe not.
I don't know. I'd be just juggling a lot of characters. You know,
juggling a lot of characters. You know. I gotta say, not having James anymore is like, this was, if it had to happen, this is kind of the best season for it to happen because there's so much else going on that I don't know we could support that. And we haven't seen Kelly.
No, well, Kelly's hiding out, remember?
Right.
But now that Malefic's like, I'm gonna go Green Martians, bloop bloop bloop. I think like she's safe to come back now.
Definitely.
They just forgot to call her. Like, oh, by the way, it's cool now.
Well, we saw her with the motorcycle and stuff a couple weeks ago. I'm just saying, like, she's been around, but just we didn't see her this week, or I guess we saw her last week, but we haven't seen her this week. So yeah, a couple of our characters have taken, and Brainy even was around, but sort of definitely took more of a back seat.
Sure, you can't service everybody. This
You
was
can't.
definitely Lena centric, in some ways, a Craddock centric because
Yes,
she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna actively try to stop Leviathan because you killed my boyfriend,
that's right.
and I'm sad."
S-
And
s-
Ramakan's like, "No,
speaking of Leviathan, we haven't seen William either. Again, Rachel in the chat is pointing out we haven't seen William in a
right,
while.
right. He served his purpose? Question mark.
I mean, we saw the episode that dove into his past, and we haven't really seen him since.
Here's the thing though. When we get closer to crossovers, they kind of drop a couple of the characters that are not going to be involved in the crossover because they're unimportant, and we kind of need to move characters to a particular. We need to wrap storylines that necessitate wrapping so characters can deal with whatever crisis is coming.
I agree, and
That
as they should, right? Like they should be focusing more on the characters who have a bigger storyline in the crisis. So
not even
that
that, or just like I watch Supergirl to watch Supergirl. I don't watch it to watch William.
right, yeah,
So
exactly. So it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
yeah. What do you think, Lena? Um, what do you think Lex and Marnovu are discussing about Lena? Because he's like, let's discuss my sister. Doesn't she have great hair?
That
Or
accent,
something.
a little weird, right? I
Yeah.
think I think Lex has. I think Lex has like something planned for Lena. Like he wants to. He's been manipulating her for as long as he's known her, right? Like as soon as she came into his life, ever since he's been manipulating her, like all the whole time. With the chess stuff, with
The whole time. The whole time.
the
The whole
whole
time.
time. But really, like that's it's been. He has treated her like some kind of puppet, forever. So I think that he still has machinations and has plans for her. I think that he probably. I'm gonna say it has to do with like controlling her, wanting her to continue to turn into him more. At least that's what he wants. Um, I that's my feeling is that he wants to make her more like him, as things go on, and he's slowly again playing the long game like he does, and slowly turning her, making her go full Luthor. Eventually, is what he wants. Whether he'll succeed, I can't say, but
He wants Marnovu to help him make her go full Luthor.
yes,
Wow. Wow. Alternatively, do you think he's like, let's discuss my sister? She's actually smarter than me, so we should recruit her too.
that might be true, but I would still say that's probably a mechanism for his.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Everything's a machination.
I guess that's what. That's what I mean. Like nothing is what it seems with Lex, right? There's always an ulterior motive, and I see no reason to think this is anything else.
Do you think that Lena will help in the crisis, and then sometimes the good guys don't win line will be like, oh, but sometimes they do. I'm better now.
I
Does
would
that make
love
sense?
to see that. Yeah, I do. It does. I would love to see that. I would really love at this point. Like I would like to see her arc be that she descends into evil, almost pulls off her evil plot, and then comes to her senses, and Supergirl is able to save her. Save her emotionally. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of. Do you want? Okay, this is kind of towing the. This is semantics right now. Do you want Supergirl to save her, or do you want Kara to save her?
Ooh.
What makes the bigger statement?
I kind of want Kara to save her. When you put it that way, I kind of want it to be Kara more than Supergirl. But I want Kara zor-el to save her friend. because that's what she does. And
Right.
and she had, this episode, even after she shot at her with kryptonite missiles, she still was like, I'm not giving up on you. Mm-hmm. She still resolutely refused to give up on her friend. So I want that payoff of I didn't give up on you, and I was able to, and I was right not to give up on you, and I brought you back from the brink. I really want that.
No, that's an excellent point. That's really what I want too. I think Supergirl saves people she doesn't know. Kara saves her friends.
Okay, I like
sense?
that. That's a good distinction. I like that a lot. Yes, yeah, I think that's true. I think that that you can demonstrate that throughout the show. So yeah, I love that approach. I do. I would be very, very happy with that.
Yeah. We'll see. We shall see.
We shall watch your future with great interest.
Yes, indeed. A total side note: Andrea Brooks had her baby.
Yeah,
This past week.
Yeah,
very exciting. Good for her.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very happy for her. I tweeted a little message of support last night during the show because I was very, very happy to see that.
It's good. Do you have anything else that you'd like to discuss within this episode, like the fate of Akrata, for instance? Like, what do you think?
I don't really know what's going on there. I don't really know what to sort of predict is happening with that storyline, because it does seem to be meandering a bit, and I'm not seeing what the whereas with the Luthor's stuff, I can sort of predict where it might go. There seems to be a point to it. There's a like a lesson to be learned from it. Akrata stuff still seems a little nebulous and hard to pin down, at least to me. Do you have the same feeling, or do you
kind of, because she's like, now she's anti-Leviathan, and she is, like, we end with her like with her contact lenses in, kind of grieving. But like, what's next? I don't know. It feels like this. It's almost wrapping up like a half of the this is kind of the like mid-season finale, right? Because the Crisis is the mid-season finale, so this is like, for regular storylines, this was our mid-season.
Yeah, exactly. This is essentially our mid-season for all intents and purposes. You're absolutely right.
Yeah,
and I kind of feel like they've been treading water most of this season to get to the Crisis, right? Mm-hmm. That feels like that's where they've been. I feel like they've been holding back something, and I really hope that the second half of the season packs more of a punch, because it feels like there's been like the Lena and Kara/Supergirl storyline has been super compelling for me. The romances between Kelly and Alex and Brainy and Nia have been compelling to me, but a lot of the other storylines, not quite as much. They're just not. They don't have the same punch. They don't have the same weight. And so I am hopeful and excited to think that the next half of the season will be a return to form, the same way the second half of season 4 got really strong. I really hope the second half of season 5 gets really strong. Yeah,
I hope so too, because I mean, like, Rama Khan summons a volcano out of the ground this episode, like literally a volcano, and it's like, but Crisis is coming. And
when that doesn't seem big, then right?
Right. I think it's just that everything is getting overshadowed in the wake of Crisis, but whereas other shows are dealing with those like a Flash and Arrow are actively like road to Crisis, and Supergirl is like side alley to Crisis. It's not.
You know what it is?
Trolley to Crisis.
Yeah. Well, it's that Arrow and Flash are the two tie-ins before the event comic that you absolutely must read, You must read them, otherwise you're going to be confused about some things.
Well,
Supergirl,
it's just got the Road to Crisis tag at the top, but it has nothing to do with Crisis
why
whatsoever.
did I buy this comic? Why did I? Okay, well, if I read all 8 issues of this before the event happens, maybe I'll understand. No, it doesn't help you with, and you could read just issue 8 and be fine.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
The last page of issue 8 and be fine.
But I think maybe we're getting frustrated here because that's how they always treat Supergirl before a crisis.
Yeah, it's kind of true. But more so this year than ever, I feel.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, by the way, she'll be there. And they're like, all right, well, maybe a crisis could be about Supergirl. That would be nice.
That'd be nice. I'd be on board with that.
Yeah, so if Crisis really does merge all the Earths together, because that's what Crisis on Infinite Earths does, right? It merges Earths together. Maybe that's kind of her cue in to be part of an ongoing story that way, because Arrow and Flash and Legends, even Legends to a point, like play off of one another, and Supergirl never has that opportunity. So maybe this is the opportunity that that we're looking for.
Yeah, I hope that does happen, right? Because as you pointed out, in Crisis on Infinite Earths, the comic, that's exactly what happens. It was a mechanism to merge all of the various different disparate continuities that had happened, from the 1930s when DC Comics got started all the way up to 1986 when this comic came out, 86, 87. So, the idea was let's collapse all the different continuities that conflict with each other down into one and make one new continuity going forward. Of course, 20 years later they had to do it again, but that's what this was all about. And I would love it if they did that here, if they collapsed all the Earths into one. It would be interesting though, because on Earth 1 they don't really have aliens like we have on Earth 38. And on Earth 38, we don't really have the same kind of metas that we had on Earth 1.
That's good point.
So how are they going to handle that? Like, will there suddenly be metas running around National City and aliens running around Central City?
Yeah, well, I mean,
that'd be cool.
National City does have metas like Livewire and Silver Banshee,
right?
And
sure, but not
other characters from season 1.
You're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. But there's clearly a higher concentration of them on Earth 1. And we really haven't seen many aliens, hardly any aliens at all on Earth 1.
No, I mean, they have the Dominators, technically,
right,
which are on Earth 1. But yeah, you're right. I think maybe attention just won't be called to it at all, because the idea of Crisis is that people don't remember that there was a crisis in the first place. If it's successful, if the saving the world is successful, only the people involved remember, and they already know aliens and metas exist, so they don't really.
That's true.
That's
true.
not a thing.
That's true. Yeah, it'll be interesting, is what I'm saying. There will be ramifications, even if the people involved don't remember. Like, this would open up the Pandora's box to have more alien stories on Flash and more meta stories on Supergirl, for example. That's one way that you could do more of those kinds of stories. Obviously, you could have them be in episodes of each other's shows a little more easily and just call each other the same way that, like, sometimes Cisco shows up on Arrow or Caitlin shows,
right.
you can, or Felicity show up on Flash. You could do something like that where Brainy pops over to Central City to help them with something. That
Brainy, who I was thinking of too. That's what I was like. I want to see Brainy hang out with Cisco.
That would be so fun, right?
That would just be fun. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. But Frank, that was pretty much this episode. Okay. Unless you have anything else to say.
We talked a little bit about the opening scene and how, like, what I really took away from that was Supergirl resolving not to give up on her friend. So that's really what I wanted to address there. And then I thought the super nuanced conversation that Alex and Kara had, or I guess Alex and Supergirl had, about how to approach Lena and what was the way forward. Obviously, we talked about how Alex made her decision that she was going to go ahead and follow her gut, and arguably she was right. But I thought the way that they handled that discussion was super super nuanced and super like it really got into like the ethical questions of like what do you do with this person who like Alex constantly reminding her and then saying again later like Kara doesn't remember that like Lena's my friend too. Like I am torn up about this, but
Right.
I have to do my duty.
Yeah, and I think that's they're almost like the angel and the devil on Kara's shoulders. If that makes sense, they're the two sides of the same coin, and Kara's really the one in the middle, where Lena and Alex are torn by what they see is duty, and Kara's duty is to her friends first,
Right.
and that's kind of her luxury almost of being Supergirl, is that she is not beholden to particular agency or anything. She's just there. So do you think it's going to come to a head with Lena and Alex because of their ideological clash in a way that Supergirl or Kara can't understand?
I do think there's a good possibility that they will Lena and Alex may face off in some way because they are clearly like much more butting heads in terms of where they're coming from. Where I mean, clearly Lena's beef is with Kara / Supergirl more than it is with Alex. But Alex is the one who's like, I will use force if necessary. Like I'm not against it. I got to do my job. You're my friend, but I don't want to do this to you. But if you don't back down, I will use lethal force if necessary.
Yeah.
So could it come to blows between the two of them? Yeah, I think it absolutely could. I don't think Lena. But here's the thing: I think if Alex goes after Lena, Lena could outsmart Alex, even though Alex is very smart. But Alex has the like military resources that I don't quite think Lena has at her disposal. Although we saw that bunker.
I was like, true, but she has L Corp resources. She has Lex Luthor resources. So,
Yeah.
I mean, she literally had cannons inside a mountain that came, so she's got resources.
It's you know what it's a pretty solid matchup between the two of them, right? Like they're both super smart. They both have the resources. One has the resources of the Luthor name. The other has the resources of the U.S. government. It's hard to say who comes out on top there. It's pretty almost evenly matched. So I don't know. I guess Alex has access to more manpower. Like she could call in troops or whatever if she needed to. But I don't know, man. It feels like Lena could still do something with satellites or something. I don't know. But it's a pretty even match.
Lena could do something with satellites. Yep, she sure could.
Something with satellites or something. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Or something. No, but you get what I'm saying. Like she can get creative, and she's super smart. She's a Luthor. That was a good bit, actually. Which is like you're talking about her like she's a Luthor. She is a Luthor.
That's true.
That was a good bit.
That's true.
Yeah.
She is a Luthor. Well, I think even just like in the back of some of their brains, they're like, well, she's adopted, so she's not really a Luthor. But by that, who cares? She was raised by that family.
She's a Luthor.
That family. That weird family.
She's a member of that weird family. Mm-hmm. That family oh man, their Thanksgiving must have been something else. That family.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm. Chandler thought he had bad Thanksgivings.
I know, really. Yeah.
Anything else you want to add about this episode?
No, I think that really does cover it at this point. Yeah, there wasn't really any integrity or journalism stuff this week. That wasn't really a theme.
Literally nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Kara was in her costume the entire episode.
I don't think we saw her as Kara even once, right? I think
Nope.
She was Supergirl the entire time.
Yep.
Which is fun. I enjoy that.
Yeah, it's true. She's probably like, I'll be Supergirl all the time. I'm wearing pants now.
Hell
Whatever.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that aspect very much. And I really do. I felt like these last two episodes were stronger than most of the season up to this point.
Definitely.
As individual episodes, I think these were two of the strongest. Not the two strongest necessarily, but two of the strongest.
Yeah, I would say it's on the ladder. It's on the stronger half of the dividing line, but
Okay.
I didn't love this episode. I think it was
Okay.
kind of like it was a bit of a kind of moving the steps forward, but also a bit of a weird wrap up slash placeholder, and wasn't really sure what it wanted to be.
I think that's
So
true. I think you're right about that, and I think it was misnamed, calling it The Wrath of Rama Khan. Wow, that's a great title, and I'm so glad they went for the Wrath of Khan pun. It wasn't really about him.
no, it wasn't. I mean, he was wrathful, and it was kind of his last ditch effort. But I mean, it's fine.
But this was a
Whatever.
Lena and Kara centric episode,
Hmm.
much more. And, I don't know. It was one of the, I feel like they wanted the pun so badly, they just went for it. And I respect it, but I just don't know that it really is an accurate, sort of descriptor of the episode. But I'm not going to hold that against it. I enjoyed it. I see what you mean, that maybe it wasn't necessarily the strongest, but I enjoyed it a fair bit.
Yeah, it's fine. Do you want to take us out, and then I don't? We could do trailer TV talk, but it's just Crisis. So
Let's do that. But before we take it out, I want to let everyone know what we're going to be doing during Crisis. This is our big announcement for this week.
oh yeah, right.
So, Crisis will be 3 nights in December, right, and then another night in January.
2 more nights in January.
Sorry, 2 more nights in January. You're right. So it's 5 nights in total. For the 3 nights in December, I believe it's 8th, 9th, and 10th. December 8th, 9th, and 10th, we will be right here live streaming each night after each episode airs. Immediately after each episode airs on the East Coast, we'll be live streaming right here. Some nights it'll be Tim and I. Some nights it'll be some other friends joining us. But we have some fun stuff planned. People you know from other podcasts. They'll be joining us here, and we'll be talking, breaking down each episode each night right after it airs. So we'll be doing some real quick hit, instant first thought stuff. That'll be right here. You'll find it on Periscope, so you can go to our Twitter account at TV Supergirl, or you can find us on YouTube, and we'll be streaming there as well. We'll put links to all that in the show notes. We'll have links to all that on all of our socials, so you'll be able to find it. But please join us for live streams each night of the crossover. Very, very excited to be doing this. We've never done anything like this before, but
Nope.
This is the biggest crossover that these shows have ever done. Who knows if they'll do it again? Who knows? This could be like they could decide this is the last one. We're going out with a bang. I don't know. So we
I don't
want
think sweeps will allow them to not do
That's
them
probably
again.
true. That's probably true. But anyway, we are so excited about this. We wanted to share it with all of you. So tell your friends, tweet along with us every night during the crossover. We'll be live tweeting, and then we'll be here live streaming. And then after, and those are not podcasts. Those are just live streams, just for the live audience. And if you join us later that week, we will do a full podcast where we will wrap up the entire Crisis first 3 episodes later that week. So that's our big announcement. I'm very excited about it, if you can't tell. So this tonight was kind of a test run, dry run for that. I would say it went pretty well. Thanks to everyone who joined us live in the chat for participating, for adding to the show, giving us stuff to talk about as we went along. Really, really enjoyed having those extra added points as you went along. So thanks to everyone who joined us. Thanks to everyone who contributed. And we'll be doing this again next week. So I hope to see you again next week, each night after each episode of The Crisis. You can find us on the internet. You can find us, of course, at supergirltvtalk.com. That is our home on the internet. That is our website. That is where you will find this show and every episode of it. This is you'll also find us over on patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio. We really appreciate all of you for visiting us there and supporting us. For as little as $1 a month, you get exclusive benefits. You get episodes of all these things that only members get to see. Episodes of our shows before they air, all kinds of exclusive content just for our patrons. So please do check that out. You can follow us on Twitter at TV Supergirl, of course, and that's where you'll find both this live stream and us when we live tweet throughout each and every episode of Supergirl live on the East Coast. You can follow us on Instagram at instagram.com/SupergirlTVTalk. And you can email us at mail@supergirltvtalk.com. You can, of course, find Thought Bubble Audio at thoughtbubbleaudio.com. You'll find us and all of our other shows there. And you can find us on iTunes, aka Apple Podcasts, or Overcast, or Stitcher, or Spotify, or anywhere else the podcasts are found. You will find all of those. You'll find us at all of those places. And please do remember to rate and review us. As we mentioned, at Crisis, we will be talking about we'll be doing a giveaway of some cool comic book. Some cool comic books that Tim has graciously volunteered to donate to this good cause. So leave us a rating or review on iTunes if you want to be part of that drawing. We would love to have you in there, and every rating and review you give us means a lot. So please make sure to do that and help us help the show get found. Tell your friends.
Frank, you did such a good job.
I'm so good at this.
It was really amazing.
It was amazing. It was epic. It was.
I'm gonna come over there and give you a hug right now.
Like right
now.
Right through the screen. Like right. Buddy. If you. Buddy.
Got you.
Okay, thanks, bud.
I can't wait to see that in the delay because I want to know.
I was
what
actually
it looks
facing
like.
the other way, but that's okay.
Oh no, really?
You want to try it again? Here. Try it again. Turn.
Ready?
Yeah.
This way?
Oh, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh. All right. Yeah. Internet hug. Wait. Internet 5. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. All right. Nailed it. Cool.
Oh yeah. So weird.
It's so weird. All right. Trailer TV talk. The trailer. You know what? We should talk about the tag, the Crisis tag at the end. That's what we should talk about.
Yes.
The Wells tag at the end.
The Wells tag. Nash Wells.
Nash
my
Wells.
favorite Wells.
Your favorite Wells.
He's been well, if you don't call it Reverse Flash, because
sure.
he's the best. But Nash Wells has been my favorite. Indiana Jones Wells.
And this had a very Indiana Jones feel to it. This bit, right? This tag.
Yeah. Got to do the thing. Got to punch the code. Whatever. It's basically if Indy had chosen to drink from the chalice.
Right.
There's an Indiana Jones poster behind me. I just realized.
Oh, that's right. There is. Yeah. Wait, let me change cameras so people can actually see your. Yeah, there it is.
Bam.
There it is.
There.
Bam. Right there.
It's
Love
back
it.
there. Back
Love
there.
it.
Boom, boom, boom. Cyclone Rage to the episode tag was also the end of Batwoman. We did say that? Question mark? Yeah, we did.
Yes, I think we mentioned it. Although I will say, friend of the show, Derek Russell of Starkville's House of L, did point out to me that they did do slightly different cards to start each of those. So on let me see, on Batwoman, they used the Batwoman font and it said Central City, December 9th, 2019, 11:58 p.m. And on Supergirl, it just said Central City, Earth 1. That's all it said.
Oh.
So they started it kind of differently, but then it went on to be the same from there. But yeah, slightly different.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So if you don't watch The Flash, but Nash Wells is from another Earth, and he's been hunting the Monitor down, and he's found his hidey hole on Earth 1, basically, and he walks towards the light, basically. And so we knew, if you're following the geek news, that Tom Cavanaugh will be playing a character called Pariah on Crisis, and it looks like Nash Wells is Pariah. That's kind of where they're going with this. This is basically doomed to watch the Crisis over and over and over again, or something like that. Do you remember Pariah? Yeah. Crisis sitting behind you.
Absolutely, I remember Pariah. Yeah, I'm showing on screen right now what his Wikipedia article and what he looks like and all that. But yes, absolutely, Pariah. You summed it up really well. He is doomed to watch the Crisis over and over and over again, and he and Harbinger interact a lot, if I remember right. And
yeah, that's correct. And Harbinger is Lila Diggle's wife, head of Argus, director of Argus on Arrow.
Right on. Yeah. Yeah, so I imagine that Wells and Lila will be interacting a lot next week. With the Monitor.
I mean, maybe because it's going to be like this little team of people,
right?
That he's I don't know, man. I like I everything they've showed us is the big flashy stuff, and I appreciate that because it's their own version. Like they could do
Yes.
anything. And it's
Yes.
been honestly, it's been so long since I've sat down to read Crisis on Infinite Earths. I wanted to read it before. I wanted to read it before the crossover. I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm going to
But
make an effort this week. I'm going to make an effort to pick it up, and I mean I've got it sitting right here behind me on the shelf. I'm going to make an effort to pick it up and try and read it. At the very least, this weekend I will leaf through it, and refresh my memory on some images, and at least skim my way through it. But I do want to reread it earnestly because it's been a couple of years. And it really, like, when I got into comics, I went pretty deep, and I had read, like, oh, if you really want to understand what's going on in comics today, yeah, this is like 2008. If you really want to understand what's going on in comics today, you need to sit down and read Crisis on Infinite Earths, and then Infinite Crisis and Identity Crisis and all that stuff. In order to understand, like, where we're at today in modern continuity. So I did just that. I went back to Crisis and read my way forward of all the events that happened throughout from there through the 90s, sort of the major ones in the 90s and the 2000s and everything, and got myself caught up to that present time. And I've been pretty much, caught up ever since.
I did not do that, actually. I read it way out of order. I think I was a kid. Not just at heart, but like a kid.
Kid. Yeah.
Yeah.
I came to it late.
Yeah, I knew what it was, at least by the time, because I started reading comics during Infinite Crisis, or right before Infinite Crisis. So I had a conception of it already, but I hadn't read it at that point. So I don't know. Maybe I read it afterwards. I don't know. It's hard to keep track. Maybe I haven't read it at all. Maybe I just think I have.
I do remember that when you and I became friends and started talking about comics a lot, I either you hadn't read it yet at all, or it just had been a long time since you had. And I can't remember which it was, but you were not super, like, recently familiar with it. Let's put it that way.
No, it's honestly, it's very wordy,
It is.
it's of its time.
It is.
In style. So, not that I wouldn't call it a slog, but I think the concept is cooler than the execution.
Yeah, that's fair.
By modern comic standards, I guess, or even just personal taste. So this is a subjective retrospect on Crisis on Infinite Earths. But that basically only means that, but like, they're throwing in characters, and the characters they have available to them on the CW shows is completely different than, like, even just the main focus being like Oliver and Kara and Barry. Like, that's totally different than anything that you had available during Crisis on Infinite Earths in the first place. So, we'll see. I'm excited. Don't forget, Psycho Pirate's around.
Psycho Pirate. I forgot about Psycho Pirate.
Right. He showed it was last season. So we're showing him again. He's coming back. Right. So there's stuff that we haven't seen. They flashed us with extra Superman and Lois and, like, all these cameos basically, but they haven't shown us a story, which is really smart storytelling.
Yeah,
it's really smart marketing, because they're like, oh, I want to see these things, but they didn't even tell you what it's about. You just know the big picture, and it's pretty exciting. I'm excited.
I'm extremely excited. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're in for a wild ride, and I'm excited to do these live shows with you and with our other friends. I'm excited to podcast about it with you afterwards, and we have a lot. We have a lot of ground to cover this next week. We got to save our voices, drink a lot of throat coat tea, and
my job does not let me save my voice, so you're in for a wild ride.
I will hold you to that. I will hold you to that, my friend.
By the last episode, I'm like, so, and then the monitor came into the bar. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I will say, exactly.
Exactly. Good. Exactly. Frank, this has been wonderful. I'm gonna fall asleep, so let's wrap this up.
Let's wrap this puppy up. Thanks again to everyone who
Cool.
watched us live. Join us again next week. We'll be streaming live again. Follow us. The best way to get updates is Twitter, twitter.com/TV Supergirl if you want to follow along with that. But thanks again. Thank you, Tim. Thanks everyone for watching. And until next time, up and away.
Yay.
My name is Nate Bonilla Warford here in Tampa, Florida.